Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Is Roger Chen from Center for Business Studies and Innovation of Asia Pacific, University of San Francisco. Mr. Lippo Tan, we are very pleased and thank you for helping us to do this interview program. Would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. So I think thank you for inviting me. I'm an executive chairman of Cadence Design and also chairman and founding managing partner of the Walden Group that include Walden International, Walden Catalyst, Celeste Capital. We manage about $5 billion of asset under management. And I did my undergrad from Nanyang Technology University in physics. Then I did my graduate school at MIT, nuclear engineering. And then I also did my MBA at USF.
Discussion topic: How I learned to be a leader.
Could you elaborate your kind of leadership approach, philosophy, as you manage the transformation and the growth at a Cadence?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Leadership, some people said that you're born with it. And some people that, over time, you pick it up and learn it. It's very interesting. When I started at Cadence, I asked a coach to helping us, not only helping me, helping my team on terms of team culture. And he decided, we need to do the Myers-Briggs and personality. And it's very interesting, I just looking at the team, and then I look at myself. Initially, when I do the test, I was ultra introvert.
Oh.
And I'm not a very open, very outspoken person. And after 7 years in this business, being a CEO of this company, and when we did the test again, I become ultra extrovert. So that tells me that people can change. And so you can train, and you're not born with it, whether you're an entrepreneur or leader or you're not a leader, but actually you can be both, as long as you kind of work on it. And then with the right coaching, you can be very good at that. And then secondly, when I was a CEO, I find that this job is quite lonely, and especially the public company. A lot of things you cannot share with your team when the company has some challenges. And then I find that very valuable for me is the mentorship or the accountability group that I put together. So they are successful CEO, they're successful leader, and then it's a very small, 4 or 5 people that we have agreement. They will share with me their challenges, and I can share with their challenges. And you learn a lot about the same, like for example, this pandemic period. What are the decisions you have to make in terms of bring them back to office? And then what are you decide on the bonus? And then you want to have a little bit more data to decide, or you should go to the formula that used to be practiced. Turned out to be very helpful by some of these people to share with. Some of the situation, you may not get consensus among your management team. I have one situation, I have a very heated, divided team view on this particular topic. I have 50-50. 50 said we should do this. 50 said, no, over my dead body, shouldn't do it. I decided, they all know, usually I ask for time to let me sleep overnight, but it's not actually sleeping. Actually, I'm doing a lot of work comparing with my peer and my mentors, and then do my homework. And later on, I come back with the decision that, the team all come together and we become unified voice to make that decision. And some of them originally disagree with that. They come along. And that's very important. And so there is a kind of a team culture together to make it work. And so I think that I think is very valuable And I also, over the time, I belong to this business council. Business Council, the U.S. Business Council, is a top 50 Fortune company CEO like Satya, Jeff Bezos, J.P. Morgan, friend of mine, Jerry Diamond, Brian, Bank of America, Delta Airlines CEO. So all these CEO, we get together 4 times a year. And in fact, this pandemic situation, there's a lot of issue about COVID situation, exposure, depression, mental health, and when is the medicine available. And so turned out to be extremely helpful. They conduct not just once a month, they conduct once every 2 weeks with the right people. Like, for example, in the COVID situation, we have Johnson & Johnson CEO, Merck CEO, CVS CEO, and hospital CEO. They all come together and then update us, or the CEO, what are the things to expect, what are the things need to be prepared. And then turned out to be extremely helpful for me in my own cadence, how to do that, how about the decision make with my HR director and our business unit, how do we implement some of that. That turned out to be a tremendous opportunity. The other part I mentioned earlier, besides mentorship, accountability, we hold each other accountable. And the other part is, I found out that I'm learning from being on the job. And some CEO want to be the Superman. They always want to be right. And end up is very dangerous. And then when they fall, when they make mistake, it turned out to be very big disaster. He got fired, or she got fired. And I learned that, by showing the vulnerability. And then you don't know, and you make mistake, you screwed up, you admit it's screwed up. I tell you, the team come along with you. They support you, and they want to make sure that, they give you the honest feedback. And at the end, you make the final decision. They basically, they don't remember how many awards I get. And I have a lot of awards, but they only remember when I screwed up. They don't know it. And then I enjoy doing that because I show the vulnerable, they come in and have fun. And I learn a lot by learning the mistake. And then my 2 kids, I learned from them. And they can't remember what are the big award I got, but they remember where I screwed up. And then and we become a very laughing, and then it's kind of fun, and then to have that relationship, And so I apply it to my team also.
That's great. That's also kind of echoes your early point, like being humble and it's honest, showing the vulnerable part. I'm curious, going back to your early story, because you said initially you got like a equally divided team, then you did some homework, try to persuade them. Could you, kind of add a little bit kind of points? How do you do the homework and eventually persuade the opposing side to go along with your decision?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I'm a big basketball fan or football sport fan. The 2 coaches that I learned a lot is, this Phil Jackson. You remember he used to coach the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, and he coached the, Dennis Rodman. Then he went into Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe. And he usually give books to each player to challenge them to do something. Like Shaquille O'Neal is horrible in shooting. And he's basically challenged him to how to, shooting the so they can improve that. And I found that is very useful. And the other one is John Wooden, and that is UCLA. And then how to even help the player to tie their shoe so they don't get injured. And that turned out to be a very good lesson to apply to the business. So it's all individual. And then you just have to spend time with them to work on them. In fact, all my executive team, I have assigned a coach, a different coach for each person. So you basically bring out the best of them, and then they all work with me. 3 areas that each one of them they have to work on. And then we help them with we invest, the coach invest money to make them a better leader. And I just mentorship some of these executive, and they can be anytime be a CEO in any other places. And then, so because of that, you have vested in them. They look up to you as a mentor, and you help them to be a better leader. And then that turned out to be very rewarding for me and also very fulfilling for them. And they appreciate a lot that I now have a coaching. Even my board, I have this buddy system. So some of the board members, they're very strong in marketing. So I match up with the corporate marketing person. And then someone very strong in finance. I have him mentoring my CFO. And so in a way, they get the real value contribution matching. And then like, for example, the CEO I trained for 9.5 years, I have 5 executives that become their mentor and accountable group for him so that he can develop and have his own team accountable for him, that he can reach out to them without coming to me. And so I think that is valuable lesson learned. And then, by the way, when I become the CEO, my HR director gave me 3 books, CEO for Dummies. So I read those 3 books, and in some way I look back, I'm not a proven CEO, and I learned a lot by working on on training, and turned out I can be a better CEO rather than a pre-idea. People don't like pre-idea CEO, and he just duplicate whatever he learned in the past. But I was so open. I still remember the first few days in the all hands meeting. I told them I have no experience running CEO of public any company, not even a public company. So I said, well, please give me advice and suggestion. So every suggestion you give, I will read and then listen to it. So for the first few weeks, I have 300 emails per day.
Wow, per day.
I promised them I read every one of them and I follow up with them. So some of them was really shocking. That I have been in this company for 25 years. If I send anything to CEOs, I drop in the ocean, never reply. And you came to my cubicle and talked to me, and then their tears dropped. And he said, well, no CEO have done that. And but you did that in a very different way. And that's why, you become, kind of people CEO, they employee CEO, they like me so much. And they feel very difficult to accept that I'm leaving, but I insist to leave. But I bring somebody else much better than me to be the next leader. And then, so I think that's kind of my approach.
Thank you for watching.